I'm here with Dan from KS Composites. Now we're going to talk about this new investment in hyperMILL they've made that's helped them cut programming time by over half. So Dan, could you give us a quick introduction about KS Composites and what you do here?
Absolutely. So KS Composites is ultimately a provider of composite solutions, basically from end to end. So that's from design through to manufacture. That can be, so we'll do design for manufacture and then we'll go all the way through to the final component, basically. We're involved in many sectors, but predominantly automotive and motorsport.
Yeah, so machining is not the biggest, it's not the only process you guys do, but machining is a big part of making the patterns and for the molds for the final products. It's quite a complex process, but what kind of parts do you make on these machines?
Okay, so predominantly what we'll do is we'll do patterns and molds on our machines. So on our 5-axis Belottis, we'll be looking at patterns of various sizes and complexities. So that could be something from the very small up to something the size of a front bumper of a car, basically. In terms of materials, we'll be looking at MDF, epoxy tooling board, but also metallics as well, such as aluminium. So yeah, a whole range of things, basically. Just on the side of that, we also look at carbon component trimming, so we'll trim components and also do jigs and fixtures of various materials.
Looking at these parts, there's a lot of undercuts, really complex features. You need a CAM system to make these parts.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no way you could do it without a CAM system, basically. And hyperMILL, with all the functions and the features and all the toolpaths, there's an option for everything, basically. Everything we come across, whether it's machining patterns or whether it's machining a component, we can, at the drop of a hat, swap and program either or, basically.
So tell me more about the trimming the components.
Yeah, so when we're going to be trimming components, what we're looking for is a simultaneous toolpath, basically. This allows us to create a toolpath around the part without any tool marks, so lead-ins and lead-outs. It gives us ultimately the best final product.
If you had those tool marks on the parts, that's extra process time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. All we'd be doing there is be passing that on to another department, which we're not about here. We're about efficiency. We want it to come off the machine to be a good final product and go straight through.
Yeah, you don't want to have to worry about final deburring processes once it's come off the machine.
No, absolutely not. Like I say, we want to make sure that what we've done ticks all the boxes and we've cleared everything we need to clear.
So how's hyperMILL helped you perform these complex operations?
Yeah, so when we talk about 5-axis contouring, previously we hadn't had any exposure to any 5-axis simultaneous toolpath. So when we went into looking at 5-axis contouring, for example, and trimming components, the ease of use was the biggest thing that led us to sort of pursue that further, basically. And once we started using it, we realised that yes, it's a complex toolpath, but it's very easy to put down.
So how have you seen, what's happened to the programming time since you've taken on hyperMILL?
So I'd say since we've had hyperMILL, we've probably cut our programming time by half. We literally are in a position now where we can put through twice as much through our programming office than we ever could before.
And also there's another feature called pattern feature recognition. Yes. How's that helped you save time?
Feature recognition has been massive for us. You look at a pattern and you see there are any number of compound holes on there, basically, varying in size, depth, diameter. Before, we had to individually define each hole. So you can imagine when you're looking at 50 holes, how time consuming that could be for your programmer. Ultimately, they've got better things to be worrying about than defining those things.
So how do you deal with new starters trying to learn the CAM system?
So new starters will come in and we will enrol them on our sort of bespoke training package we have with the hyperMILL. Now, what this is, it isn't an introduction to hyperMILL. It's more of an introduction of how work is processed with the company and how we use hyperMILL to aid that, basically. So we will bring them in and it will show them how what our predefined templates are, how we attack certain jobs in which way, which toolpaths we prefer, and things of that nature.
So you're training them to make sure they design and develop parts exactly how KS Composites expect them to be made?
Absolutely, and that's what it's about, basically. We want people to be up to speed with hyperMILL, but we also want to be ensuring that we are working to the same standard, that everything that comes off the machine we have the confidence in.
It's like the KS Composites best practices.
Yes, completely agree, yeah.